Good afternoon. Today's devotional is being recorded for Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. We have a hero come out of the woodwork in today's passage named Joseph of Arimathea in Mark chapter 15, verses 42 to 47. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. It says, this all happened on Friday, the day of preparation, the day before the Sabbath. As evening approached, Joseph of Arimathea took a risk and went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. Joseph was an honored member of the high council, and he was waiting for the kingdom of God to come. Pilate couldn't believe that Jesus was already dead, so he called for a Roman officer to ask if he died yet. The officer confirmed that Jesus was dead, so Pilate told Joseph he could have the body. Joseph brought a long sheet of linen cloth. Then he took Jesus' body down from the cross, wrapped it in the cloth, and laid it in a tomb that had been carved out of the rock. Then he rolled a stone in front of the entrance. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, saw where Jesus' body had laid. Now, the day of preparation is the day that the Jews would prepare for the Sabbath. They'd prepare the food ahead of time so they wouldn't have to do food preparation on the Sabbath day. They'd clean the house. They'd wash themselves and wash their clothes so that they go to synagogue in their new and clean clothes. And Joseph was a big shot. He was an honored member of the high council. He had a reputation and he had authority. Yet, he was looking for the kingdom of God and becoming a believer in Jesus. So he goes to Pilate and asks for his body that he may bury him before the Sabbath. Well, Pilate was surprised that Jesus had died so quickly. Crucifixion usually took longer and tortured more before death. But the officer confirmed he was already dead, so Joseph was given permission to take the body. He laid the body in a cave-like tomb and rolled a heavy stone across the entrance. The wealthy people in those days, they would have a tomb that was usually a family tomb. And what would happen was in the front of the cave-like tomb, there would be kind of a shelf on the rock. And they'd lay the newly passed person on that shelf, and they'd close it up. Then the next time they had a family member die, they'd open it up and they'd gather all the bones that were left from the first person and stick them in the back, usually in a box called an ossuary. And they'd put the new person in there until the next person died. And that way they'd have a place where they stored the bones of their ancestors, as well as had a burial place for the new people who died. And this was the first time this tomb had been used, so Jesus was the first one in there. And he laid him on the shelf, and he closed the tomb. And the women saw where that burial took place. Doesn't mention Peter, doesn't mention John, but the women. We need to recognize that sometimes women have more courage, more determination, and quite frankly, more stamina than the men. Joseph of Arimathea was a surprise. The women were steadfast. How important it is that we do the right thing, whether it surprises everybody or they expect it of you. Peter and John and the other disciples were kind of a disappointment at this point. The women were steadfast in keeping up with what they'd been doing for the last few years. Joseph was a surprise, came out of left field to do the right thing. We need to do the right thing all the time, whether it's expected of us or whether it's a new thing for us. We need to do the right thing. God bless you.